Hello, welcome. Lindsay and I welcome you to yet another installment. I guess we can call these installments, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Part of our series, the ABCs of 2022 Success, where our aim is to make you think a little differently, give you some little shifts to think about to help spell out success this year for you. And we've
Yes.
been walking through the alphabet, and today, Lindsay, we're on E, right?
We're on E, which is crazy. How are we already on E? We're going to get to Z and be like, whoa, where'd the time go?
We'll have to do double A. Well, we'll figure it out once it comes
There
back.
you go. Yes. Yes. So E, and we did this last week, and Robin and I kind of like the flow. So we're going to stick with it. We're just going to throw E words back and forth to each other and see where they stick in our space, which we should let everybody know. So I'm Lindsey House. I'm a registered dietitian. I'm a private trainer, accountability coach, author. And Robin.
I'm Robin Sachs, and I'm a confidence coach. I do a lot of work in public speaking and also stress management.
Which, man, do we all need you?
I need me sometimes. See, isn't that one of those things where you teach what you need to learn? Isn't that what they say,
Yes,
right? Hmm.
absolutely. Yes. Oh, I feel like I always put you in the hot seat first, but I'm doing it again.
I'm ready for it.
Okay, because I would actually, again, for my own benefit, I would like to know where your head goes with this. I have a lot of clients who feel like I'm a direction, not perfection girl. And so they feel like, well, if I'm not aiming for perfection, then I'm not striving for my best self. And so I'm going to throw the word excellence at you versus perfection and see where you run with that.
All right, that's a great one to start with. So here's when I think of excellence, what I think of is excellence is a heavy word. It feels like there's so much that needs to be done to attain excellence. So I'm going to pull excellence back a little bit and I'm going to rename it maybe.
Hmm.
I like to think of excellence as being better than I was yesterday.
Ooh, that's good.
Keep it simple. When you keep it simple, you keep it doable. And if you keep something doable, it's easier to do. So you're going to have a better chance at consistently taking action on it. So, excellence is something that's wonderful. It's like a goal, right? We make a goal, and this lofty goal is somewhere way out in the future. And, if we think of that goal, it feels heavy, it feels big. You think about how am I going to get there? All of the steps involved, everything that I have to do to get there. And if you stay focused on that goal, as opposed to the daily things or the little steps you need to do one at a time to get there, it's really easy to give up on that goal. So if you shift your focus when it comes to excellence, if you have a sense of here's what excellence is for me or would look like for me, and then pull it back, leave excellence way out there and come back and go, so what are the little tiny things I can do on a regular basis, every day, every week, every month, that just keep moving me closer to excellence? Because every step you go closer to excellence, you're going farther away from where you were. So the idea is keep moving in that direction and don't think of excellence as a be all end all. Think of excellence as every one of us can be excellent today. Every one of us can attain excellence today. Did you finish something you wanted to finish? Did you check those things off the list? Did you, struggle with something yesterday that you got a handle on today? That's amazing. You've just moved closer to excellence. And so I would say for excellence, don't think of it as some big attainable thing you have to shoot for up here. You can practice excellence every day. And the more that you do that, the more attainable any end goal you might have is.
Oh, so good. I totally agree. Yes. I wrote down the being better than I was yesterday because, man, that feels achievable, feels attainable, I think. But
All right, let's see. All right, my turn. I'm going to throw one out. This is actually one, someone on LinkedIn threw this out as a suggestion to us, and I think this is a wonderful place to go. So I'm going to give this one over to you. Empathy is another great E word.
I feel like empathy shows up daily or needs to show up daily in the health world and in the weight management world. I live in weight management world, and I'm going to just, I guess for our listeners today, I feel like I want you to feel seen or feel heard, and just know that from an empathetic standpoint, like knowing that it's not as easy to just say, just do it, right? Like the Nike symbol. It's not that. There's these onion layers that come from, well, you know what? There's I'm heavy because it's not that I'm lazy. I'm heavy because I've got these emotional onion layers that I'm working on. I'm like, that's where I just feel like, man, if we could take every person who's struggling in weight management world and say, give us your story, give us your background, give us all those things that you're battling with on a day-to-day basis, I think the whole world would just be more empathetic. And we need more of that, because I just feel like, and I say you need to be seen and heard, because people don't feel that way. They feel judged. They feel that now that I've lost weight, people are all of a sudden holding doors open for me, that people are making eye contact with me. I know I kind of went off on a tangent with this, but like when I think empathetic, that's where I go, is that just, we need more of it. Where do you go with that?
One of the things, so a lot of the work that I do is very behavioral. And
Mm-hmm.
so one of the I guess the themes that I bring in often when I'm working with people is there's always a reason someone's behaving the way they are.
Mm-hmm.
And oftentimes we look at surface behaviors or surface actions or things people are doing or saying, and we just take that surface and we make judgments based on that. But when you start to get curious about, well, why are they doing that? Why are they saying that? What is it that is helping that to be the thing that comes out? Because there's always a reason,
Yeah.
always.
Yeah.
And I would suggest when it comes to empathy, one of the greatest ways to practice empathy is just to say, like you said, I see you, I hear you, and I bet there's more going on. I bet there's something different. There's something underneath there. Let's go ahead and get curious about what that is.
Right.
That's, I
Yeah.
think, where that goes. So very similar. But yeah, and the thing I would pull out that you said, Lindsey, feel seen, feel heard.
Awesome. Yeah, I like that. We're going to keep going with this too, Robin. The thing that we hear from each other the most, that highlighted sentence. I want to talk about experts. Like you go into, because when I initially was thinking experts for another letter E, I was thinking how sometimes we need to pull them in, or sometimes we need to make sure how to know if we're grabbing the expert or just listening to everybody who has something to say about a part of our, call it our health journey or our mental state or whatnot. Like when you hear the word experts, where does your brain go?
Boy, so this is kind of interesting. I this was one of those things that I heard somewhere. It just came up in a conversation, and I heard it the first time, and I thought, no, that can't be. And it just kind of, whatever. I went on with my day. And
Mm-hmm.
you know how sometimes there are things we need to know, and so it keeps coming up.
Yeah.
It came up like 3 more times over the course of a couple of weeks, and I thought, let me actually look into this.
Okay.
And what it was is somebody said to me, "Do you know what the definition of an expert is?"
Hmm.
I said, I have no idea. I'm thinking someone who knows a ton about any type of subject, right? The
Yeah.
subject matter expert. And they said, no, the definition of an expert is about someone who knows about 10 to 20% more than the person they're talking to. And I
Really?
thought, no. And I went and looked it up and started researching. And in fact, the actual word expert is basically someone who is a few steps ahead of you. It's
What?
not necessarily someone who knows everything about something. And so that shifted how I look at expert and expertise. And if you think about it, the way that I kind of settled with that and that I use that, for example, in my work is this mindset shift of we are all experts in something. And the irony is we're experts in that topic to certain people, but not others. And so what I mean by that is I might know a lot about X. To everyone who doesn't know as much as I know about X, they look at me as an expert because I just
Mhm.
know so much more than them. Everybody who knows more than me about X, I'm no expert, right? I have some learning to do.
Yeah.
So expertise, I kind of started thinking of as it's a perception. It's not about the knowledge base or the amount that you know all the time or necessarily. It's more of, do you know more than someone else? To them, you're seen as an expert. So think about the things, the way that I would use this in everyday life is, think about the things that you can share with people. What is the knowledge you do have? How can you help people that don't have that knowledge? How can you share those things, your experiences, your stories to anybody who hasn't had those experiences or doesn't have that knowledge? They're looking at you as an expert.
Mm.
So it's kind of an interesting thing. And some people would probably still say, nope, once you get to this status or this point, you're an expert. And that's okay. I just love that perspective shift to put in there that, you know what? Don't put yourself down and think I still have so much more to know.
Right.
What you know right now to some other people who don't know enough or
Yeah.
don't know what you know, you're an expert. So own that and just keep moving towards what you want. Keep learning, never stop, and know that you're always the expert to some, and to some you'll never catch up to, and that's okay because
Right.
they're moving on their knowledge journey too. It's not a competition.
Right. Oh, that's so interesting. And you know where my brain goes with that is for anybody who keeps feeling like they're not putting themselves out there in the world because they haven't hit expert level yet, that with your perception of that and just saying, you know, enough to, like now's the time. Don't wait until whatever you view expert level as to say, now it's time to hit the go button on that dream, on that goal, on whatever. Don't hold what's inside because man, we got something to share, right? And I heard that out of somebody who was like, my thoughts were sitting in this book that was just on my desk. And I thought, I've got to stop back to the perfectionism thing. I've got to stop waiting for it to be perfect because I'm holding that back from everybody who needs this information right now. And kind of like, what a beautiful way to look at that like we're stealing that moment of aha for somebody else, or that moment of forward progression, moving that needle forward when we sit on things, waiting for expert status. So,
Right.
yeah.
And you know what, just kind of I guess one more thing there, a little thing to keep in mind. When we're thinking of what we know or don't know, notice that we always look forward and remind ourselves how much we still need to know, how much we don't know. I'm
Yeah.
going to invite you and encourage you to look backwards also and go, look how much I do know. Look how far I've come. Look what I know now that I didn't know a month ago, a year ago, 10 years ago. So don't just look forward and beat yourself up that you have such a long way to go and don't know a lot. You've always got to look back the other way. Look both directions. It's like crossing the street. Look both ways before
That's
you
good.
judge yourself. Look both
Really
ways.
good. Yes. Love it.
All right. So let's see. Is it my turn?
I think
Okay.
so.
So expert. So let's see. You know what? Here's one that just popped to mind, and I'd love to hear your take on this because I bet you have a great one. How about energy?
Ooh. Oh, we all want more of it. We all don't have enough of it. Love energy from so many different angles, but let's go with this one. That I call myself a scale smashing dietitian because I think that scale, yes, for a lot of people, they can have so many good, I'm circling back around to energy, I promise, can have so many good things going in their week. And they jump on the scale and the number isn't what it says it is. And one of the things that I really encourage my clients to assess throughout their day, to assess throughout their week is their energy. Hey, when you drink more water, these baby steps, when you drink more water, when you just moved, you just got out and hit 4,000 steps versus 2,000 steps. Do you notice that your energy just feels a little bit different? And I think energy is one of those hard ones to truly put your finger on and assess because it's easier to look back on it and go over time, yeah, I have more energy. But like on a day-to-day basis, as we're striving for health goals and being better versions of ourselves, it's normally very small incremental bits of energy that creep in. But so we have to be very conscious, self-aware, insightful to go, I do feel different. I probably don't feel like, woo, amazingly different, but I feel different with my efforts that I'm making. So energy is a huge one. We can put the scale on the side burner and move energy into its spot and say, if our habits, if our efforts are giving us energy, what a huge success we're having. What about you? Do you want to keep going with energy, or do you want me to throw a new word at you?
You know what? A couple of thoughts based on what you said, because I love what you just shared. And, a couple of things with energy that we know where we get our energy and we know where we get our stress.
Hmm.
I mean, if we stop and think about it, we know those things, and it's fascinating sometimes which pulls us, because sometimes they both seem to pull us, which is ironic. But just like you said, smash that scale, get rid of it, right? That's not the monitor, not the gauge that you want to use to be able to accomplish your goals. There's much better ones to use, I guess we can say. Similar, when it comes to things like time management and energy, something that someone introduced to me years ago, and I love it and I use it and I share it all the time, is they said, we not that everyone has complete control of their time. None of us has complete control of our time. Um, and even anymore, people seem to have a little bit more control of their time because so many people do work remote. There's so many different working type situations. And so if you are someone who does have a little bit of control over your time, here's an energy shift to think about with your time management. She said, everyone's trying to use their clock to do time management, right? At 8 o'clock, I have this, and at 10 o'clock, this, and then, 11:30, I have this. And we're always going by there. And the interesting thing is, when you think about your energy clock as opposed to your time clock,
Yeah.
things change. And what that means is, think about things like, um, think about things like, uh, I'm a morning person or I'm a night owl, right? Or at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I get this burst of energy.
Yeah.
Use those things. Use those things to your advantage. If you have the ability to shift some things that you do, if you're a morning person, get those things that require you think time or thinking and your energy and all those things here. Don't schedule that for 1 o'clock if that's when your energy is shot and it's a low energy time. Schedule tasks at that time you don't have to think about, right?
Yeah.
Think about if you're a night owl, don't beat yourself up that you're not doing a whole lot throughout the day because at 11:30 at night while everyone goes to sleep, you accomplish more in 3 hours than you would have during an 8-hour day.
Yeah.
So anytime you're able to figure out where your personal energy is and don't buy into all of the stuff is you have to be up at 5 a.m. to be successful. If you're a morning person, fantastic. If you're not, please don't try and fit your energy into that time. It's not going to work and it's going to so discourage you and you're going to disappoint yourself and you didn't do anything wrong. So think about your energy times during the day and see if you can schedule things where you have higher or lower energy that makes sense to do during those times.
I have an example with that because I feel like my husband and I's talk time would have always been when he was getting home from work and kids need us at that point and we're both low energy and then we need to have this hard conversation about a rental property or about whatever. And it was like, you know what? I'm going to meet you. We are going to schedule lunches. I'm coming downtown. We're going to do this at a high energy time when we're both focused and we have the energy to have this talk. And it made all the difference in the world. And I think that even like with studying back at school, trying to study at night when everybody else studied, I couldn't. My brain was not retaining. I'd wake up at 3 and 4 in the morning sometimes to study because that's a high energy time for me. What's your energy? I think you're an afternoon person. Am I right?
Yeah, definitely. You know what? I'm okay in the morning. I'm okay late day or whatever. I
Yeah.
am very much like early to mid-afternoon. I get this rush of energy. So I used to always kind of beat myself up a little bit. Oh, in the morning, I feel like I'm just lazy or I'm slacking or I could be doing so much more. And then I'm like, no,
Yeah.
I get so much more done by going here instead of trying to do it here. If
Yeah.
I did it in the morning, it would take me 3.5 hours. If I do it in the afternoon during my high energy time, it takes me an hour and a half.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, you find big pockets of time if you start thinking about using your energy differently instead of just putting things in your calendar.
I feel like this sounds like the homework moment, the
Let's do it.
takeaway,
Let's go there.
where I think people need to really build the insight, write it down somewhere, ask a spouse, ask a friend, have open conversations around the energy clock and really name your energy times so that you can visually see those so that as our examples are coming out. What are your examples? You know, what are what are the things that you feel like you're constantly hitting that wall of, I'm not making it happen or not making it happen fast enough? Do you need to shift your energy time? What do you
That
think?
sounds perfect.
All right.
I love it. I love it when something wraps itself up.
I know. Well, Robin and I are trying to do a really good job of like coming in, giving you 20 minutes of things to ponder and think on and jumping back out. So next time we get together will be F, right?
Nice. I'm already seeing focus is popping up, but there
Ooh.
are so many other wonderful things. So we'll bring stuff into the mix. If you have any thoughts or ideas or would like for any of the letters for us to talk about anything that can raise your confidence, lower your stress, help you hold yourself more accountable, self-leadership, any of the things we talk about, again, let us know. I'll say this one more time. It's free coaching.
No,
2 coaches.
it's so
Free coaching. So why not? You never know when you'll grab something out of here that you go, I never thought about it that way. And it really can make a difference for you.
free coaching, free accountability. It's things that you and I have deemed our whole business on, that we are, if you follow us through this whole alphabet, we promise you that something will come out of this, that you will be different at the end of these talks.
Absolutely. It's as easy as easy as ABC. It's a good thing I don't speak for a living, right? Oh my goodness.
It's that easy.
It's that easy. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll be back. We'll see you in a couple of weeks. We will be on the letter F, and we'll keep helping you to spell out success in your 2022. So until next time, thanks for joining us.